Hey, you guys can hear me now. I'm being understanding. This is weird. I'm not in driving mode. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Patty.
Hi,
Hi.
we can hear you.
We can hear
My
you.
phone keeps saying you're in safe driving mode. I'm not driving. Good God. As long as you can hear me, I don't care. I got problems this morning, so just bear with me really quickly, okay? I wasn't quite ready, but I pushed the wrong button and y'all got in my class. No wonder I'm complaining. It's only 108 in the car right now. All right, I am alive. I am well, and I am turning on the air conditioner so that we can chat. It's hot where I'm at. I wonder if it's hot where you are.
66 in LA.
Oh, good night. I'm in San Bernardino at the moment. It is 106 degrees in my car and 100 degrees outside. Ooh. I'm getting a lot of questions about this new flippin' security deposit law. And so let me talk about it really quickly, okay? So everybody's on the same page, reading the same book. With this new security deposit law, you are not required, I repeat, you are not required to refund any overages on July 1st, okay? You get to keep what you've already collected. You're kind of grandfathered in there, okay? Here's where it becomes a problem. If you do a lease extension, then you're extending your original lease. If you renew a contract, then it's a whole new contract. So if you collected more than double the rent as a security deposit and July 1st happens and you do a lease renewal and do a whole new contract, you're going to have to refund the unlawful amount of deposit collected. What did y'all just hear? Stop doing lease renewals and do lease extensions. Got it? Do we have questions? Because I know they're coming. Does that make sense to everybody? If you do a whole new rental agreement, you may have to refund anything you've collected that's over 1 month's rent as a security deposit because you're entering into a new agreement. Got it? Lease extension if you want to keep that higher deposit. All right, here comes the questions. What do we got?
Patty, I have a question. So if we're currently on month to month, and I have residents with me who've been there for a while, and it's 1.5 or 2, 2 months rent for the security deposit, do I have to refund anything, or since they're already?
No, you're grandfathered in. Here's the issue. They're going to tell you, you have to give me half of my security deposit back because you can only collect 1 month's rent. That's right. For all new tenancies starting July 1st, the maximum is 1 month's rent. Okay? So we don't allocate security deposits until you vacate the property. Are you giving me notice and vacating? Because then I'd be giving you your deposit back. Here's the problem. If you do a lease extension to extend the term of the lease for 1 year, you're covered. If you do a whole lease renewal, you may have to refund that overage because you just entered into a new agreement. Make sense? Okay, now I'm starting to see exemptions, and this is only for LA County, no Val, entire state of California. Don't shoot the messenger because I could hear you screaming at me right now from Orange County all the way to San Bernardino. Patty, what are you talking about? 1 month's rent security deposit is a maximum starting July 1st in 20 days, give or take. There is an exemption for owners with only 1 or 2 properties. That is correct. Let's talk about that exemption, okay? Especially to my Roadrunner people. For those of you that manage property for profit, in other words, you're a property manager. If you list a property for rent and ask for double the deposit, they're gonna come unglued on you. You can't do this. This is a violation of the law. Blah, 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 blah. You are a business. They are not going to look at it that you're doing stuff for little independent landlords. So if you are running a business and you're trying to protect your independent little landlords, just know because they're hiding under you property management company, that's going to be a really tricky instance. As far as exemptions, and I can see Val leaning up to her screen right now, turning her ear, making sure she's listening. Val, you're not exempt, okay? Exemptions go like this. The owner of record, including the house they live in, can own no more than 2 parcels, meaning 2 pieces of property. And on those 2 pieces of property, there can be no more than 4 doors altogether, including where the owner lives. So let's say that the owner lives in a duplex and the owner owns another duplex. Is the owner exempt? If the owner has a single family residence and a triplex, are they exempt? If they have a fourplex and a single family residence, are they exempt? Does everybody understand that you can have no more than 4 residential doors on no more than 2 pieces of property in order to be exempt? So if landlord has a single family residence they rent and they live in a different single family residence, they're exempt. If they live in one single family residence and have 2 single family residences as rentals, they're not exempt because that's 3 parcels. They can only have 2 parcels, no more than 4 doors. Nobody has a question about that. It has nothing to do with an LLC as far as I'm aware. This is looking, and it might have something to do with an LLC. They might say if they hold title as an LLC, they're deemed a business and they don't qualify, they're not exempt. That would be how an LLC would affect you. Down the rabbit hole we go. I'd have to look at the bill again. I don't recall seeing anything about an LLC. And I don't think that has any bearing. But how they're now looking at LLCs is it's a business. It's a big business. It may not be a corporation, but it's a business. And they have bigger pockets. An LLC is now looked at as not being exempt from statewide rent control, especially in LA County. Okay, so everybody's got the exemption. Now, if you are managing property for profit, go have a conversation with your broker. Let them know that you are going to be met with a butt ton, and that is a real word. It's not offensive. It's actually a use for measurement. And it was used back in the day when they were porting wine in kegs, and it's called a butt ton, okay? It's a form of measurement. You are going to have a butt ton of BS that you are going to be dealing with as a management company asking for a higher security deposit, because that tenant isn't going to know that there's an individual owner that only owns 2 parcels and blah, 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 blah. They're not going to hear that, okay? They're going to hear that they're renting from corporate America. And how could you be charging me more? You're breaking the law. So watch yourselves. You may get more resistance than you want to deal with. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just guessing here. And I got to go to where I can see. I can't see the stuff that's being texted to me. I'll find it eventually, but for the moment, I can't see it. So forgive Patty. If you guys got a question, you're going to have to unmute yourself. I'm experiencing tech.
Patty, hi, it's Arlene.
What you got?
What if it's in a family trust?
It doesn't have to do with how title is held for the maximum security deposit. It has to do with how many properties that trust owns. Ah, makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Patty. This is
Yes.
Marion. Yes.
Mary.
Hi there. I was on a call a few days ago with HIP, which is part of HACLA. And they were saying that they still pay out 2 months of security deposit for the homeless and anybody that's part of the HIP program. So does that work into the situation if they're still paying 2 months?
Just because they're offering it doesn't mean you can accept it. See how that works?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can offer it until you're blue in the face. If the law says the landlord cannot accept more than 1 month's rent as a security deposit, what are you going to tell the judge? But the program gave it to me. You still can't break the law.
So it doesn't matter who it's coming from, whether it's coming from a program or if it's coming from the tenant. That's what you're saying.
And that's how that program's going to try to get their hook into you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
I mean, basically what you're asking me to tell you is to give you permission to break the law. I can't do that. Make sense? And I
Yes.
didn't even know that these programs are offering to pay double the deposit after July 1st, when it's
Yeah.
illegal for you to accept double the rent as a deposit.
So what if they call it something else?
They can't.
Okay.
A deposit is a refundable, a fee is not.
Okay.
And if you don't think for a second that these tenant advocate programs aren't going to set you up for failure, you're sadly mistaken. I've had a lot of clients tell me, I just got off the phone with LARSO and they said that I'm not governed by them and they don't govern my property. So I could do a maximum rent increase of 15%. What? What? You're still in LA City. You're governed by 4%. But they're gonna want to give you bad advice so that you'll do an eviction or cause, you get what I'm saying? Watch who you ask to help you.
Hey Patty,
Right?
it's Christina. I have a question about the security deposit, but not about the July 1st law.
Okay.
With my tenant that moved out. So he notified me on May 17th. He moved out on May 31st. On May 23rd, I sent him the AGNA acknowledgement form that acknowledged his moving out. So since he moved out on the 31st, and he notified me on the 17th, he still owes me for that 16 days of rent for June, right? To complete the 30 days.
Does your rental agreement say that they have to give a 30-day notice?
Yes.
And he gave you a notice of 2 weeks, I'm guessing, and then vacated?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Here's the problem. If you re-rent it prior to the 16th of June, you have to refund the money to him.
Okay, I won't.
Well, my theory is re-rent it as quick as you can and then give him back the difference. It makes you look good.
Okay. Now he wants me, I did text you about this. He wants me to Zelle him the refund, but if I Zelle him, then I can't mail him the security deposit form. So
Yes,
how do
you
I?
can. Yes, you can mail it to the old address. If he put in a forwarding address, it'll get forwarded to him. If he didn't put in a forwarding address, it'll come back to you. Put it in your case file, undeliverable, and don't open it. That way, if he ever sues you saying you didn't do it within 21 days, that is what's going to protect you.
Got it. Okay, and then I don't want to Zelle him. Can I just send him a cashier's check? I don't want to
Yes,
do it
you
from the
can
business
send him
account.
you can send him a personal check, a cashier's check. You can actually refund through direct deposit now. They made that okay in the law, I want to say in 2018.
Okay. I just
Okay.
don't want him to have my personal address, and that's what's on our check.
Honey, if they want your personal address, they're going to find it. Who owns
Yeah.
title? who owns title isn't private. Just talking out loud,
Yeah, okay,
okay?
all right,
We
so
can
that's,
run, but we can't hide.
got it. And then I have another one, another question. So, I gave a tenant a notice on May 11th because she changed the locks. I handed it to her son. I still haven't received a copy of the key. And just yesterday, she texted me saying that she lost her mailbox key and if I can give her a replacement. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
trying to, I don't want to,
$50. You can charge her for that replacement.
even if it's not on my rental agreement.
If you would like me to provide a new key, I have to go get one cut from the post office. I have a receipt from them charging me $75 to do that. I'm now charging that expense to you.
Okay. And then what if I wanted, I think getting a new key cut, I mean, literally only costs like $3, but it's me driving to the property, which is like 40 minutes away. Can I
Is
have
it
her meet?
Is it a cluster box?
Yeah,
Okay, that's called, oh God, I want to say it's called a barrel key. And the post office changes the locks in the cluster box.
well, I bought the post office, I bought the mailbox online and it gave me like a bunch of little keys and copies. And then the
Oh, okay,
post office
perfect.
does the master lock. So I do have
I
an
gotcha.
extra key, but
Okay,
like, how do I handle this? I don't want to overcharge her if I don't have to. But I also don't want to have to drive out
so
there.
go make a key. Okay. You have the receipt for getting a copy of the key made. She owes you that. And then she owes you, if she wants it delivered to you or if she wants to come pick it up, give her the option. If she
Okay.
wants it delivered, you can overnight it at her expense.
But I can't overnight it if she doesn't have access to her mailbox.
Honey, overnight doesn't drop it in the mailbox. They hand it to you.
Okay. And then if she comes and picks it up, I can have her come drive to me, which is like 30, 40 minutes away.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, and now I see the stuff that people were asking me about in typing. I found the typed messages. My technical difficulty has been corrected. Send a money order or cashier's check. Use a P.O. box, Val says. All right, here we go. Who do we contact to gather all the details for the new law of security deposit? I just gave it to you. Starting July 1st, you can only collect 1 month's rent as a security deposit if you own more than 2 parcels, 4 doors total, including the house you live in. Maximum deposit going forward from July 1st is 1 month's rent. Even for shitty credit, even if it's a fully furnished unit, even if you can only collect 1 month's rent. So here's my thing, okay? You know what's gonna happen? We're just not gonna rent to those people anymore. We're not gonna rent to the ones with crappy credit. We're not gonna rent to the ones that say, oh, please rent to me. I'm going through a divorce. We're gonna turn our noses up at these people because we have no recourse and no backbone, no deposit to help float them through an eviction. It's garbage what's happening, and it's gonna make us not want to rent or take a risk is how I see it. All right, getting to you, Miss Val. I see your questions. Existing tenant in Kern County that I plan to raise the rent August 1st. Let's say the rent's $1,000 and they have an existing deposit of $1,500. I raised the rent to $1,100, so you only did $100 increase, which is 10%. And I also want to raise the deposit $150, also 10%. So that would be wrong because I already have over a 1 month's deposit. You're correct, Val. You are absolutely correct. Add tenant protection fee for that other half. All right, so you got that? Okay, I'm giving you the new rules. If you want to ask an attorney to give it to you, they're going to explain to you the law in Latin and just confuse the crap out of you. I gave it to you plain and simple. If you need more information, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to contact your legal counsel, but don't get mad at me if they talk to you in riddles and you don't understand them, okay? I found a way to say it to you as simple as I could, and that's how I do it. Keep it simple. Okay, you guys want to hear it funny? So you guys know I moved, right? When I moved, I grabbed my shampoo, my conditioner, my body wash. Only it wasn't my body wash, it was my lotion. So I'm standing in the shower, scrubbing myself with body lotion, trying to figure out why it won't suds up. And then I realized this lotion, not body wash, have a whole other problem. And then yesterday, I ran out of conditioner, so I tried this other conditioner. I'm pretty sure it was face cream. But you know what? My hair won't have any wrinkles. This is how my life goes, you guys. Hello. The weirdest things happen to me. And only me, I think. But I'm 90% sure this is face cream because it's just yucky. I don't love it. My hair feels really soft, silky, but it's yucky. I don't like it. I'm gonna go home and shower, but first I'm going to the store. You know, if I didn't share all the weird idiosyncrasies that happen to me throughout the day, you guys would just think that I am perfect and nothing goes wrong in my life. And the reality is I'm just like you. And when the wind blows, the weirdest crap happens to us, right? Please tell me I'm not alone. Okay, so here it comes. So last month, I sent out 3 rent raises effective July 1st. It included a deposit increase. You need to refund the deposit increase, Val. Can't do that. If it took effect June 30th, you would have been fine. But July 1st, no good. I have an LA City single family residence exempt from AB 1482. I need to do an increase for the monthly alarm. Do I just post and mail of change of tenancy? Arlene, I believe in city of LA, you're capped at 4% annually currently.
But she's not in. Well, I only did, no. I'm not under 4%.
Okay, you're exempt from the city?
I'm exempt from the city. It's not LARSO. It's a single family.
Okay, so you're exempt from the city. You need to do, yep, a 30-day change in terms.
Yeah, because I think I could have gotten like up to 8 or 9%. I only did a 5% increase. And this is 3, and the increase is like $3.60, but they increased my bill. So do I have to give them a copy of the letter from the alarm company or just do it?
No, just do it.
Okay. All right.
All right, and now I got a question about a security deposit, okay? And I am the queen of security deposits. Why? Because as a regional manager for major corporate America in charge of 3,200 doors and 30 employees, I made sure that I looked at every security deposit refund going out on what we could charge and what we can't charge. And I went to all those court trials. So I am well versed in California Civil Code 1950, 0.5, 0.6, and 0.7. So let's talk about this. Security deposit. If a rental agreement was with 2 people and one moved out a couple years ago, do I make the security deposit to both people or just the one that moved out? Let me ask you a question.
You wait till they all move out and you have to give it in both names.
Bingo, unless they gave you something in writing that says, I have no further interest in the property located at and the property address. That would make it so they don't get the deposit. Otherwise, you have to put everybody's name on it when the last person moves out. He moved out on 5/31. Rent increase was on 6/1. The prorate is for June's rent, correct? Prorated at June's rent at the higher amount for the, don't quote me to this, 17 days? Maybe it was 15 days. I don't remember how many days, but do it starting June 1 if you had an increase on June 1. Hope that answered that.
Okay, Patty, I got a question again. This is Marion. I wanted to know in that particular instance, if you're going through an eviction process, is pending litigation going on right now, you cannot even ask for that money for the newly installed smoke detectors or whatever. You can't do that, or you can.
If you're going through an eviction, you
Mhm.
don't want to serve the tenant with any notice unless your attorney tells you to do it. And
Okay.
usually the only notice I've ever seen an attorney agree to have a landlord serve during an eviction is a notice to enter and nothing else. The
Okay.
reason being, once you start serving other notices, it could void the other notice that is why you're in eviction court.
Okay.
So no notices during an eviction unless the attorney specifically tells you. And usually the only thing I've ever seen happen during an eviction is a notice to enter. No joke.
Okay. Well, let me roll this back a little bit. I have, I should be able to enter. Section 8 had given me a fail notice, and every single item on there is due to the tenant, but they put it on the owner. Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you can see that it's the tenant at fault, but they put everything on me, which is going to be a pretty sizable bill. What I want to know, and I need to, one of my workers found out that it's a leak underneath the building, and I need to get, there's a pipe that is not bursted, but it has a crack in it. I do have the right to enter. I consider that an emergency because the water is flowing. Is that an emergency?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when I go there, and that will be tomorrow and Saturday, when I go, am I able, do I have to give a 24-hour notice? Because I'm told on one hand, if it's emergency, you don't have to give a notice. But if I don't give a notice, this person, when I say extremely difficult, I mean extremely difficult, is going to fight me tooth and nail. What I want to know is what can I do? I'm almost certain she changed the locks on the door. What can I do about that? Because you're saying I can't give a notice. Okay, give me the keys. I can only have a notice to enter. We do have to enter, me and the workers. We have to enter her unit in order to correct the problem. We're gonna even have to turn the water off. So
I would call her and let her know that a leak has been reported under the property and you're gonna have to obtain entry. This is considered an emergency and no 24-hour notice is required. If she's unavailable, you'll have a locksmith open the door and allow you entry so that you can do the repair.
okay. Let me just tell you this. It's I don't even know how.
Marion, let me
Yeah.
throw this at you. The next
Okay.
thing you're gonna do is call the police and tell them that you need to come out to keep the peace and you have an emergency in the property with running water, and you as the owner of record have a right to protect your real property, and they need to push her out of the way so that you can enter.
Can I tell you
And if
something?
they don't like that, call their desk sergeant. And if they
I've
don't
done-
like that, call the
Okay.
watch commander.
Okay, desk sergeant. Okay, thank you.
And if they don't like that, call the watch commander.
Okay,
And if they don't like that, call Val.
Okay.
I'm being funny. I'm being funny.
Yeah, I went out there for the inspection. This is the first time she allowed me, and keep in mind, under the LAHD, it says one of the at-fault provisions is that you must let the landlord in, right? And she let me in, but and I wanted to ask you, how do I handle this? Because yes, she allowed me in, but would not allow me to do my complete inspection, not even close. She would only allow me, and she's a big body, broad, and she would literally block the entrance to prevent me from going into the bedrooms. I found out why now after my contractor went inside. The unit I just a few years ago, 3.5 years ago, put $34,000 into that unit. Right now, I'm telling you straight up, that unit looks like somebody's been living there for over 25 years. She has ruined my entire building, my entire unit. But again, I'm going through litigation with her to get her out. Okay. But now she's saying, like, I let her in. Yeah, you let me in, but was I able to facilitate what I went there for? And that was to do a complete inspection. And I was not allowed. how do I present this? What is it I need to do to protect myself? I know she's changed the locks because I've tried the original lock several
Take a
times.
locksmith with you. Have him bump the key and make you a key and open the door.
Okay. But
And
what if
take the
she's in?
police with you.
She's in there. She's not going to be
Take the
gone.
police with you.
They don't ever
Keep-
let me in, Patty. LAPD. I've done this 7 times. I got 7
I
police
have
cars.
an active leak. I need to speak to your desk sergeant.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you very much.
California Civil Code 19. It's 1952.
1952.
I'm
California
pretty
Civil Code.
sure. It's either
Okay.
1952 or 1954. Now I'm getting
Okay.
scared. You know what? Cheat. Look on a notice to enter and see what the civil code is.
It's
And then-
1950.
Thank you. I love you guys. So you're going to tell officer per California Civil Code 1950, this is considered an emergency and I don't need to post notice. I'm asking you to tell her to let me in there. I have a right to preserve my real property. There's an active water leak under the floor. I need
Right.
to go in there.
Right. I've done that before, and they said, unfortunately, we don't have the right to force her to allow you in. Literally, that's what LAP. I have 7
Or
cards that have done
desk
that.
sergeant.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I'm gonna do
All
that.
right.
Okay.
Christina's got another question. For my mailbox key tenant, if she still hasn't responded to my notice regarding her changing the locks and not providing me with a copy, can I withhold the mailbox key until I receive a copy of the unit? No, if you withhold the mailbox key, that's a habitability issue and they don't owe rent. Oh. Thank
Hey,
you,
Patty.
Patty, for keeping me out of an orange jumpsuit today. All right, what do we got?
Hey Patty, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So on your rental criteria, if you have a minimum credit score of 700, you can't, correct me if I'm wrong, you cannot say that to a Section 8 tenant, right?
Correct.
Okay. Wanted to know that. Thank you. Hey, by the way, I miss your crystal ball. It's an oldie but goodie.
I have a crystal ball. It's broken. Lord, I still have that. I've had that for like 15 years. So in case
Patty?
you guys,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Finish your
gonna
thought.
say, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, people always ask me, what's gonna happen? Are they gonna pass the new law? My crystal ball is broken. So that's what she's referring to. I don't know what your tenant's gonna do. My crystal ball is broken. So that's what she's referring that to. But go ahead with whatever you guys got.
Patty, I had a question on rent increases that I've already done. Some I served in person, but then others I did certified mail, just certified mail. Is that an issue?
No, you have to post and certified mail. If you just certified mail something, you didn't complete the process of serving them. So
Okay.
post and certified mail. And when
So
it
this,
comes,
this
hang
would
on,
be
let me
for,
throw
okay.
something out for everybody really quick. There's only a couple of things Patty sends certified mail. So take note, I'll tell you what they are. And I got an itch right here. Sorry, I'm not picking my nose, my lip itches. Here's what I send certified mail. Rent increases, termination of tenancy. That's it. Every other notice that I post in mail, I slap a stamp on it and send it in the mail. Why, Patty? Why don't you send everything you do certified? Because the tenants will never sign for it, ever. They think you're going to sue them. They think this is important, so they don't want to sign for it, and it'll come back to you refused. You still serve them. Okay? Only 2 documents Patty sends out certified mail. One's a rent increase, and the other one is a termination of tenancy. Any other notices, I don't send certified. Okay? Save your money.
So
It's not-
Patty, for the current rental property in San Bernardino, the people that are giving me some trouble that they're moving out end of end of June or June 30th. If I end up in court because they decided not to pay June's rent, could that come up? Because previous rent increases that I did it certified mail only. And the reason why I did that is because I have done post.
Stop. Did they pay the increase?
Yes.
Stop beating yourself up. They acknowledged it. Move forward.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Once they pay that increase, your hook's in them. Let them go.
Gotcha. Okay.
Makes sense? They acknowledged the increase and paid it. So they agreed with it by paying the increase.
Got it. So just moving forward, rent increase, you can send certified, but you still have to post it on the door as well as send it regular mail, correct?
If you personally hand it to them, you don't have to mail it. If you post it on the door, mailing is a requirement under California civil procedure. Actually, it's under civil process, okay? 1161 California civil process. And what it says is if you hand it to them, you don't have to do anything else. If you post it, you have to mail it. And then the other way to serve is subservice. And I never, ever, ever do subservice. If somebody opens the door and say, I'll take that for them. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'll have to tape it to the door, take a picture. You can do whatever you want with it after I leave. I'm also going to mail it. I don't do subservice for one reason. 9 times out of 10, that person that you're subserving that's agreeing to take the document is a minor. Remember, 17 is a minor. And these days, they grow them kids bigger than I am, okay? For those of you that have never met me in person, I'm a little tiny, and most 12-year-olds are bigger than I am. So with that being said, it's sometimes difficult to tell if someone's of age or not. I mean, even I've seen 15-year-olds with full facial beards. I mean, who knew? But it is possible. Hence the reason why I don't recommend subservice. I serve the tenant or I post and mail. There is no subservice in my world. It's too risky.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Can I charge $110 for cleaning? You can charge $5,000 for cleaning if that's how much the receipt you have is for. Got it? You can charge up to $125 total on the disposition of security deposit and not a penny more and not have to provide any receipts. But it's not just for cleaning. That's for the whole entire security deposit refund. If that is less than $125, you don't have to provide any receipts. But it doesn't mean you can charge $110 for cleaning and $600 for rent. It means the maximum you're charging out of their deposit is less than $125. Got it? Hope that made sense. No, there's not a threshold for cleaning as far as that goes. I thought you were talking about the $125 on the disposition of security deposit. Yep. No, you don't have to provide a receipt for prorated rent, but you need to break it down for them. Example, tenant owes prorated rent from January 1st, and forgive me, I'm doing this in my brain on my terms because I'm blonde. Hello. Okay, pay attention. Tenant moves out on the 15th of January, and I'm just throwing this out. Rent's $1,000. Why do you always do the rent at $1,000, Patty? Because I know the math for it by heart. It's $33.33 per day. Okay? Times 15 days, $500. Half the rent, right? There's the concept. So what I would do is I would charge it, I would do the breakdown. So you're saying $44.79 per diem? Tell me how much the rent is. Divided by 30 equals $44.79. That's your per diem times 17 days. In other words, you do not need a receipt to prorate rent on a disposition of security deposit, but tell them how you did the math.
Okay, so if I just write this amount, like There's on the AGLA form, the little space is really small. And it
Uh-huh.
just has like a line for
the
unpaid
line,
rent.
you know the line leading up to it? That's where I write. Okay? That's where I write it in. $1,600 rent divided by 30 days equals, and I'm gonna guess 44.79 times 15 days, and then the total is over in that column of what's being charged.
Got
But
it.
in other words, I do the math.
Okay.
It's not a receipt. It's just I write in how I calculated that number. On car forms, changes to rent only allowing mailing only, not necessarily post and mail. It says you can do either. You can't only changes to rent only allow mailing only. I think what you're talking about is allowing them to only mail their rent to you. G. Jones, is that what you're talking about? You gotta explain, I'm blonde. For rent increases. Changes of rent only allow mailing only. It's not necessary to post or mail. It says you can do either. I don't like that. If you mail, you gotta mail 7 days in advance. Absolutely. That's a given in anything you do. So example, if you serve a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, and your way to pay you is only a P.O. box, it's not a 3-day to pay rent or quit. How many days is it? It's a 10-day, because you got to give them 3 days and then wait 7 to watch the mail.
I thought it was 5.
Depends on the attorney. Most of them do 5, some of them do 7. It all depends on what they're willing to argue in court. So for legal documents, we say that in the office all the time, and 5 days for mailing, and 5 days for mailing. Something just fell off of me onto the floor. I'm in a car. I don't know what that was.
Your necklace? Necklace?
I don't have one on. Oh, it was the top for my pen. I'm okay. There was a top on this little pen I'm fidgeting with, and it flew. It hit me before it flew off. That's what made me go, what was that? Sorry,
Patty, you
remember, all those weird things happen to Patty, so we got to pay attention to all those little things that happen. It might have been important. All right, I heard another question coming in. What do you got?
And I have a friend who's a renter who is in a situation. I'm trying to advise her, and I just want to just check a couple things before I tell her, and maybe you can tell me who she can contact. She's living in a 12-unit building that was sold last year. They had never provided her with a certificate of registration. She's LARSO, and she's lived there for 3 years. And so my understanding is that she really didn't have to pay rent for those 3 years. The new owner is a business, and they have not provided change of management. She doesn't know where to pay the rent or anything. And they've told them that they want to demolish the building, but they're only notifying the tenants that have been there over 25 years, not the newer tenants. So I think they're playing games. So I think that's fair housing and other things. So who's the best person? Like, I don't want to send her to Boston or something, but like, do eviction attorneys help these kind of people or no? I don't know.
There's tenant attorneys that help them. So they're not all tenant advocate groups. Does that make sense?
Okay, so offline, would you be able to help me with advising me?
I'm going to say something to everybody out loud, okay? I once took a fair housing class that was taught by tenant attorneys. These tenant attorneys used to be the prosecuting attorneys for HUD. If you have a fair housing lawsuit or complaint and it doesn't get resolved within 12 months, it goes to HUD. It becomes a HUD-1 case. Okay? These attorneys are tenant attorneys, but they used to work for Fair Housing for HUD. I took a fair housing class from them and I learned so much because I sat there making faces like this. And of course they zoomed in on that, you know, hey, and then they started attacking me. Well, they verbal vomited all these legal terms at me and I absorbed every bit of it and went back to my law firm with 7 pages of notes of what opposing counsel does and how they do it and why they do it. And my attorneys were like, how did you get this? I took a class from some women I call the Dragon Ladies. Their names happen to be Margaret Elder and Chandra Spencer. I don't know how I did that. I paused you guys. I have no idea. Margaret Elder and Chandra Spencer.
Okay.
And they owned their own firm together, which was Spencer and Elder. But I don't think they have a firm together anymore. But anybody that's looking for a bulldog of a tenant attorney, I just point them their directions because I will never
Okay,
forget those
I
two
appreciate it because she's not in the wrong. I mean, she's being not fairly taken care of, and I just feel bad for her. You know, I just wanted to give her some good advice.
That's my good advice, and I call those women the Dragon Ladies for a reason because they were evil. Right there in a fair housing class, they were slamming their hands down on the desk, putting their finger in my face, saying, "We're coming for you, and we're going to seize your books and records in our interrogatory process." And I tipped my head sideways and go, "Oh, that's how they get your books and records. Oh, that's how they do this." So I just started taking notes. But yeah, I guess I came off intimidating to them, and they got very firm and assertive with me, and I just absorbed it. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. I didn't break the law.
Okay. But was I
right.
correct if they have never served them with registration in their LARSO that she's not
I would never pay rent to an owner that didn't send me a letter notifying me that they're the new owner of the property and that they have my security deposit and who I'm supposed to call and who I'm supposed to pay rent to.
Okay, just for your information, they're still together.
What do you
Elder
mean?
and Elder and Spencer.
Oh, they could have a firm together. I don't know. This is decades ago, and I know they're still in business because I see stuff come into our law firm with their name on it. So I know they're out there.
They're all over the state. They're in
They were-
Central, Modesto, Bakersfield, Sacramento, Huntington Beach,
I
Orange
know
County.
Margaret's in Huntington Beach, and I want to say Chandra's in like Woodland Hills, but that was a long time ago.
Okay, thank you I really appreciate the recommendation. Thanks a
Hey,
lot,
when
Patty.
I'm looking at them going, oh, these women are ruthless. This is who I want if I'm ever a tenant. That's how I looked at it. So you take your best judgment and go from there.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. If nobody has Margaret Elder and Chandra Spencer and Elder.
Patty, just a quick thing. If I want to get rid of someone, a tenant, and their roommate wants to get rid of them, can I just do a new rental agreement without them?
And evict them by not putting them on the paperwork?
Right.
No.
Oh, darn. And is there a polite way to tell people that they're parking in the parking lot under my indulgence because there's no parking in our driveway, and they're coming to pick up people who are handicapped, and I don't like it because people hit the fence and there's kids there. But on the other hand, the people
so
are
let me tell you how that's gonna go. Okay. You're gonna push the issue that there's no parking here, no parking here, no parking here. And they're gonna then ask you for a request for reasonable accommodations based on a disability. And then you're not gonna be able to do anything about it.
Okay, yeah, I figured something like that, but I thought I'd run it by you.
Pick and choose your battles, baby.
You're
That's not
right.
one of them.
Thank you.
It may be a pain in the butt, but that's not one of them. You're gonna lose.
You're right. And it's unkind, but an irritant.
Yes. As far as the 120-day notice on the sale of a property, people get confused about that 120-day notice when they list a property for sale. All that notice says is that we're verbally gonna call you and tell you when we have somebody that wants to view it. We don't have to give you notice. The reality of that is, yes, you do. If they don't let you in, guess what? You have to serve a written notice. And if they still don't let you in, then we can evict them for not letting you in. But the paper trail is what's required. So if you're only showing it to investors out of the gate and you're not showing it to individuals, you can still notify them that the building is listed for sale. Okay. If you need to get in, I highly recommend serving the paper. Okay. Don't just call them.
Hi, Patty.
Do you have to give them a 120-day notice that the building is for sale? Yes, I would. And hi.
Hi, Patty. I have a question. So I got a call this morning from a tenant saying that they were really upset because last night a neighboring tenant next door was like playing music really, really loud till 4 a.m. And also at the same time, she said that oftentimes these neighbors are having sex inside of their unit with the windows open and that there's children in the property. And then how do I address this?
Noises from within your unit are affecting neighboring residences' right to quiet enjoyment. Please stop this behavior immediately so that it doesn't affect neighboring residences' right to quiet enjoyment.
Okay. And do you serve this?
See how I didn't mention any of that?
Yeah.
And then you tell the tenants when that's going on, call the cops. I don't regulate the noise level in this property. That is not my job duty. You call the police. They govern the noise, not me.
Okay. And what is the governing noise?
Val says record it and then post it on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Val,
no. What is the governing noise like time frames? Do you know, is it 10 p.m. still or?
Each city has their own rules. It could be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Some of them are from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you need to find that out. I can't answer that for you.
Okay. And I can find that out with the police department from that city.
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement. Okay. All right. And this letter that I'm sending with regarding noises from within your unit or, you know, quiet enjoyment, blah, blah. Is it just a regular letter or is it some sort of form?
Neighboring residents are complaining about noises coming from within your unit.
But do I just write that on letterhead or do I write it on a certain form? No, just on the letterhead. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. And don't identify anything that'll keep you out of hot water and don't use absolute terms.
Got it.
And if you need to email me a copy of it before you post it, feel free to do that. No, that's not what happened with LA County, Val. I can tell you what happened, but you guys are all going to throw up in your mouth. And quite frankly, I need to get off of here for the day and go back into work before I get fired. But I'll give you the gist of it. LA DCBA. Remember I told you in the beginning, LA County was going to start acting like the city of LA? You're going to see a maximum rent increase starting August 1st for 4.25% in LA County unincorporated areas. That's going to start on August 1. So what is Patty telling you? Fill up your bucket. 4.25% in unincorporated LA County under DCBA starting August 1st. Told you they were going to act just like the city of LA. Told ya.
So if we do our rent raises today, 30-day notice, but that would be August 1st. Is that still acceptable?
Yes, because you served it prior to the law change, to the notice changing.
Got it. Okay.
This
So as
is
long as you
June.
serve it prior. Okay.
I'm gonna have to ask the attorney. They also didn't release that information yet. It was voted on yesterday, I think today. It's coming out. Just get ready. All right, you guys, I'm going back into the law firm. Wish me luck. It's hot in there. You guys have a great day. We'll be back in touch next Wednesday, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks.
Patty. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Patty. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.